Yep.
So we constantly have open minds, and I'm just really grateful that I've been given this opportunity to be here, discover this with as open a mind as I have. And sometimes I have been a bit stubborn, and then have to go, oh my God, I was wrong, completely wrong about that. It's actually going in this direction and not that way where I thought it was going, or the storyline. It's not going there at all.
Yep.
Like, for example, I was adamant that the stone circles were just energy generating devices, and it had nothing to do with gold mining. Now that I've learned about the nanoparticles and so forth, and that they were actually probably gold mines themselves and much more, generating an atmosphere, habitable atmosphere, putting moisture into the water. There's so much more that we're dealing with here. So you've got to keep an open mind at all times.
Yep.
I love when I meet people and they say, you know what, I have an open mind. Sorry, just go hold your train of thought there. Don't lose what you... they say to you, oh, Michael, I love your work. And this, I'm a really open-minded guy. But, I go, okay, well, you just told me you're an open-minded guy, and then you use but. So which one is it? Are you open-minded, or is there a but?
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely true. And that's an incredible fight. And I admire you for having the thick enough skin to have those fights, because the academic community, as I do more and more of these sacred sites in other places in the world, I butt up against this same thing. We've made this decision. We've decided this is what it is, and we are going to now exclude anything that does not fit in our paradigm.
Yeah. The situation here is quite staggering. I do the same conversation that I have with you with my friend Sam Osmanagic, the Bosnian pyramid guy. And I mean, he's just a absolutely remarkably smart guy, one of the smartest people I've ever met. And I would say he probably knows more about pyramids than anyone else alive today, because he's got his PhD in studying pyramids across. He's the only person that I know of all the so-called pyramid experts that has actually been to the Chinese pyramids.
Oh.
That's been up and gone into the tunnels in the Chinese pyramids. So Sam Osmanagic is an incredibly knowledgeable guy. So when he says he's discovered a pyramid in Bosnia, you better believe it. And not just one pyramid. At this stage, I think there are 5 or 6 pyramids in what he calls the pyramid complex there.
Oh.
And I'm actually talking to Sam this afternoon again for another session with him. But why did I bring this up? You see, I lose my train of thought so much because there's so many...
The academics deciding that this is what it is.
Oh, yes. So Sam, thank you. Thank you for having a longer memory than me. I'm like a bloody chicken. Short-term memory collapse. It's not just the... So Sam it's just incredible that he has had the same kind of attack since 2005 when he first announced the discovery of the Bosnian pyramid. He's been under attack by the academia, the archaeologists. They wanted to actually stop him and prevent him. They wrote papers about him. They wanted to pass a law to stop him from researching this. And I've had exactly the same attack here from the academics, especially my old university. I'm a graduate from Wits University Medical School. And it's the Wits University and the Pretoria University that are 50 kilometers apart that have really had this attack on me since 2008. It's like if they could just remove me completely, they'd be very happy.
Yep.
But what is happening now, and this is a very interesting thing that's gonna unfold. I mentioned to you, I think previously, that as of this coming week, today is the 13th of September 2020. This coming week, we are launching the Antiquities Research Institute through the mainstream media. The discovery of the ancient ruins, some of the very unique geological formations that we found that I won't mention until we put the press release out, unique in the world, that are going to just get the geological world into an absolute spin. And we have now been tasked and given the right as an institution to identify, explore, research, and protect the ancient ruins, what we call the antiquities or the heritage sites, the geological sites, and develop responsible tourism to these sites, and through the tourism create job opportunities and stimulate the economy of those areas, the towns and the people that live there. So this is fantastic, and this has taken 12 years to get there. So as of this week, this is going to put us into a very strong position And we're gaining more and more very powerful and influential partners, especially from the South African Black community, that are really siding with us and working with us to make this thing happen. What is happening now is that for all these years, for 12 years, I've been under attack by the academia in South Africa. Venomous, I mean, bad attacks. I'm not going into the detail. It's nasty. And they attack your character. They'll say they'll call you a pedophile. They'll call you a thief. They'll look at your taxes. They'll do anything to discredit you so that people don't believe you, because they'll think you're a questionable individual. But now that we're going to be launching, that we have this credibility and this platform, that we're going to be presenting these discoveries on a credible platform, this poses a huge problem for my old university and all these other academic establishments that have been so venomous against me. And none of them have ever been here to explore this, to investigate it, to examine it, the things that I talk about. Nobody. They just write about it. They completely deny it. It's like saying, it doesn't exist. No, he's making it up. It's all lies, lies, lies. Now they're going to be exposed to have been lying and just denying this for 12 years. This is developing into a very interesting situation.
Yep.
What's going to happen? I don't know, but I'm enjoying it right now, because suddenly, after having to defend myself, and not defend myself, I don't really give a crap about what they say about me at the academia. It's just when they really tarnish your name and your reputation in the media, and they do all the time, it's now going to backfire on them. Keep in mind that every time I make a discovery or I put something into the media, what these journalists do, they take that press release of mine and they run. First of all, they run to the professor at the university. Oh, what do you know about this Michael Tellinger's discovery? And 100% of the time, oh, it's all rubbish. Michael Tellinger doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what the journalists hear from the academics. So you can imagine the journalist doesn't know. They just want to get some academic response. So for 12 years, they've been getting that Michael Tellinger is an idiot and he doesn't know what he's talking about. And now suddenly Michael Tellinger is responsible for the protection and the maintenance and developing tourism to all these sites, that our tourism industry is now rallying around us in support of what we've got. This is going to be a very interesting next year, I guess.
Well, we live in this incredible time where all of this is changing. And I thought I wanted to read a paragraph out of the apology which relates to this.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask you. Because, you've got pages and pages of this apology. We're going to need a whole hour or 2 or 3 just for that.
I think that there are some parts that are interesting. So basically, it includes a couple of parts. Part of it is just flat out, we apologize, we did this bad thing, we did this, it went wrong, and then they tell their side of the story. This is why we came, this is what we did, we realize now in hindsight. So a lot of it is apology, some of it is, here's what it was like, here's what we did, so their version of the story. And then another part of it is their hope. If we can send this out to you, here's our hope for you. By explaining this, maybe you can see that there's another choice for you guys. So this paragraph starts with, we would implore you to honor sustainability above innovation, to honor partnership and collaboration over control and domination. That's what you're up against. Then they go on to say, the qualities of domination and control came from us. These qualities have created the disharmony you now live with. We see that our ego was fed by a continual diet of innovation, control, and domination. Our hope for you is that you can turn away from this pattern that you inherited from us and look for partnership, cooperation, and sustainability above all. And that's everything that you're doing now. I think that's just such a beautiful...
You know what? I don't think that you've read this part to me before. I know that you gave me your printed version or your written version of this, which I read pieces of, but it's just so bloody long. I haven't actually sat and read it. I've been waiting to talk to you about it, so I'm glad we're doing this, because I want to go through this in detail and actually get it on record with you actually reading it, so we have it as a recorded format as well. But You know, so many people, channelers and people have come to me. I've never claimed this, but I've been told that, oh, I'm some sort of a reincarnation of Enki or an aspect of Enki that is, and that's why I've got this knowledge and information of how to create a better world or a new world without violence or conflict, without money. And I'm just actually getting goosebumps when you read that, because I've not heard this intro before. And that's exactly what the Ubuntu movement and the One Small Town strategy is all about. Partnerships, cooperation, collaboration. We don't need innovation. We've got all the innovation we have. We don't have to constantly innovate. And the moment you get rid of money, you have this sharing society and community that everybody has access to everything, all the information, technology, healthcare, welfare, food, and unity in the community, as opposed to domination, which always leads to conflict. This is beautiful. That's awesome. You brought that up, because that is just Carry on.
Well, we're getting close to an hour. A couple of my other favorite parts are, again, that we've said before. I think that the Anunnaki that we're dealing with in South Africa is the Enki Anunnaki. It's very different. Everything I feel, everything that's happened to me feels completely different than the Enlil Anunnaki of Mesopotamia. I think that was a whole nother game. And I think what Enki was doing down here is a completely different. And they have been incredibly generous. They have been incredibly positive. There hasn't been any of this domination and control stuff, which is what you feel when people that write about the Anunnaki that are coming from the Mesopotamian side of the game. It feels very Yahweh domineering control.
Bloodletting, all that kind of stuff. Sacrifice. You know what you just actually said was really interesting, because I haven't thought of this before, and I've not made this connection before. And that is that the word Ubuntu and the way that African culture and societies have evolved for thousands of years is in the Ubuntu spirit. That's where it comes from. That's the word Ubuntu comes from. But it's a Southern African word. North Africa has the same system, but it's under different names and different words. So the whole Ubuntu thing, since Enki and the Anunnaki were here in South Africa, Southern Africa, Zimbabwe, South Africa mostly, and some of our neighboring countries, that mentality and that spirit of unity and working together and not innovation, rather than being happy in your environment, looking after your community, don't worry about oppression and innovation and that. Maybe that is why the whole spirit of Ubuntu is much stronger in the African communities and African civilization, rather than up in Europe, and especially Mesopotamia. I'm not saying it's always been like this. There's overwhelming evidence that early humans did not have money, and they did not compete, and they did not fight wars about money. There's overwhelming evidence, and I guess we can talk about that in another session. Yeah. But this is archaeological evidence, actually, that shows that there was a time that money did not exist, and people didn't use money. They didn't even use bartering or trading of any kind. That even that was a concept that evolved much later. That the original communities of people that lived together lived completely in harmony and peacefully together, sharing everything that they created.